Hey everybody, welcome to the next video in the series on Chart.js. So let me just explain real quick. In this video I'm just going to be going through the plugin that I've published, the Chart.js plugin line height annotation plugin. I'm just going to go through the GitHub repo. What I actually did was I came home during lunch, I shot the video, then I shut my laptop, ran out the door. Something happened. I guess I saved the file and then shut my laptop at the same time, so the file was corrupted, can't use it. I actually went through this whole thing and it only took about 10 minutes, so I figure I'll just go through the GitHub page and you guys you're smart enough to figure it out. So, um, I'm just going to go straight to the package.json file from here. And in this package.json, there's a few things that you're probably going to want. I'm just going to go straight down to the dependencies. Of course, Babel. So we're going to use Babel core, Babel plugin external helpers, and Babel preset env, just because we're using, ES6 syntax and we want Babel to take care of that. I don't actually think that you need to worry about these Babel core and Babel plugin helpers. I accidentally installed these and then realized that I had to use the scoped ones to get it to work. So use the scoped ones, don't use these. So kind of glad I kept that in now that it's an example. I have ESLint in my package. Package preamble is something that you want. It's gonna help you out with some of the rollup stuff. Rimwrap is gonna help you delete your build directory so that you can just constantly rebuild. We're going to be using rollup as the dependency manager instead of, or the bundler instead of Webpack. It's just better for publishing packages, I think. Um, rollup plugin Babel, that's pretty obvious. It's just a Babel transformer. Rollup plugin CommonJS is going to make sure that your plugin will work for CommonJS modules and packages. Rollup plugin node resolve is a plugin that we're going to pass into rollup so that it can do some of the resolution for us. And then I also have uglify installed for the minification step. So in your package.json, you want to put where your files are. So I have here build, so my directory for building out would be on top of source. It would just be, build, not in source. It would be in between or probably above samples. So put those in there. It's going to be helpful. The Chart.js is our only dependency. I have my, my GitHub author information in here, or my author information for NPM or whatever. Um, Keywords, this is so if you go to the keywords that show up for NPM, it'll help people search for your plugin, help you find your plugin, and then also put this down here. Whatever readme.md that you have in your directory is going to serve as your home page basically for your plugin. So on NPM, so you're going to want to have that. These are some scripts here for releasing the plugin. So pre-publish is just going to run this build step here. So it's going to build a production application, and basically what that's going to do is it's going to run rollup and it's going to roll it on this plugin file. So I have source plugin.js, and then it's going to run uglify, and basically we're going to tell uglify that in rollup we're going to define this file here. So we're going to define that rollup builds to this file. So it's going to, by the time that this one finishes, uglify is going to have a build file to execute on. And then pass in these flags, and then you just pass your output flag, and I just put .min.js. So that's pre-publish, and basically it's just going to build a production application so that you can run some tests on your own. Then there's 3 or 4 release scripts, I guess you could call them. So major is going to run npm version major, and it's going to take the 0 here that I have in version. I have version 0.3.3. Let me just increase the font size there. So version 0.3.3 would just become 1.3.3, and then it's also going to run a it's going to increase the version number. It's going to run a git add all, git commit, and then the commit message is going to be the new version number, and it's going to also create a tag in git, and I believe that might come up under a release. I'm not sure. On your GitHub page, it might come up under a release. So that's what these releases are going to do. So basically my script just says, npm publish, and that's going to push it up to npm. Git push, follow tags so that it can run that release. And then the same thing for minor and patch, and basically a minor release will be that in-between number, that sandwich number. So that will be if you've made changes and there's no breaking changes. If there are breaking changes, you do your major. And then if you're just fixing bugs or doing performance stuff or just reformatting the code, do a patch. So npm version patch, npm publish, git push follow tag. So that's my script there. And then there's a pre-release, I guess you could do. I just put that in there just for completionist's sake. But pretty much really all you need to know how to do is some of these releases, a build step, which you can probably figure out. I have some other stuff here for linting and before I version, then I'm going to run the lint and stuff like that. So basically the important ones are going to be this clean rimwrap build so that you can delete your build directory, and then rollup can just push out the files to it. I'll show up the rollup file. It's very small. If you've ever done a Webpack file, then you'll look at this and be like, oh my god, why is Webpack not like this? So basically build or bring in these plugins that I told you about before. So we're going to be using Resolve, Common.js, and Babel. We're going to tell it that an external for our bundle is going to be Chart.js. Since we're building this for a plugin, this is going to be a good thing to use. So we'll have this external here. That way, when we bring in import chart from Chart.js, that way Rollup knows that we need it. We're going to add this file here. So mine is just line height annotation plugin.js, and that's going to be a build file. We're going to do universal module. I think it's universal module definition or something like that. I can't remember what it is. UMD format, basically. That's going to run everywhere. Guarantee you've at least used a few packages that have UMD. We're going to define a global object that we need. So chart is going to be from Chart.js. And we're going to name our plugin. This is just a good habit to have. And then pass in our plugins. So we're going to have Resolve, Common, and Babel. And I'll show you the plugin file. So it's going to be exactly like our React thing. We're going to have import chart here, and then I have a couple utility functions in my plugin, which we don't need to worry about, but the important part comes down here at 151, and basically just copy and paste that object that's in your React project to const plugin equals, and then you have your plugin right there, and that's great. And then at the end, do an export default plugin, and then pass in this if statement. So basically that if somebody's not importing it and they just include the min file, the minimized JavaScript file that Uglify is going to create, then basically it's just going to run this register service on the plugin, and it's going to basically just allow you to use it if you're not importing the plugin. So that's a good thing to have for, I'm sure, some people. I just put it in because it's a good practice to do it. I went so far as because I knew this was for me and I knew that I am going to be using it a certain way. I went ahead and I just said that my main file is just going to be my source file because I use React and Webpack is just going to bundle that up for me, and I really don't need to worry about it being minimized or anything like that. I want the full-on good stuff, so I just went ahead and did that. And then this repository stuff, if you have your repository, so this would be like github.com/ and then where that picks off, you'll have your username and your repo, and what that's going to do is it's going to put your repo right here, and it's going to say that if you put a home page there or whatever, you can define a custom home page if you want to, but otherwise it'll just put your README file, and then your plugin will be up there. So that's pretty much it. Sorry that this is kind of a more condensed version. I just didn't feel like recording the video again. So thanks, guys.